Hey everyone, I just wanted to do a little intro. I am going to go through how you can take a digital download. This particular one is from Took's Craft Table on Etsy. I really like it. It's a very complete set. You could take that and make a journal just with that if you wanted to. But what I'm going to do and show you is I'm going to take her kit, add some freebies with it, and just show you how you can bump it up even more and put your own personal little things on it. I'm going to give different alternatives, and that you can, because we're all at different levels of what we have access to. So I'm going to show different ways of doing it cheaply, and then if you have access to some more expensive things, we'll do that as well. Okay, so stay tuned. I'll be right back. Okay, so my first step whenever I get a digital kit is I cut everything out. I do recommend, if you can, this is a cheap one. It's not very expensive. It's not the greatest, I will admit, but if you can get one of these to cut out, because you do get pretty good straight lines out of it, and even when my blade is starting to run low, I still get a nice edge. So cut all your straight cuts with this if you can. If you can't, of course, you have to use scissors. But this is something that was one of the first things I invested in, and I'm happy I got it. I change the blades every now and then, but it does the job that I need it to do. So that's the first step. Do your cuts well. Okay, so once you've got things cut, then you want to distress the sides. That's the first thing I do, is I just distress everything and kind of spend a day doing that with everything that I expect to be using. And sometimes I will just spend a day and just do a whole bunch of fussy cutting and distressing at the same time and get it done and then put it in my stash. So on to the distressing. So I love these postcards. They're great. First thing I will do is I will do the corners. You can do a small one. I do it upside down so I see that I got it in there right. There. So you do the corner, and then I like to use, this is a basic black. This is Tim Holtz Vintage Photo. This is a stack of this is how I started. I got this little stack of distressing because it was the cheapest, and I didn't have the things. I used a little pad, a makeup pad for the different colors, and I did land up using, and I will show you how I use the different colors in this. It's still very handy, but the Vintage Photo is the one I use the most. So when I could, I ended up buying that. But this is just a basic black ink pad. And what I like to do is right on the edge, you're not really trying to get anything on top. I will ink up that edge. I know you don't really see anything now, but once I go over it with the Vintage Photo and it gets a bit darker, it will start popping stuff. Then I take my Vintage Photo and I go at more of an angle like this. And it's starting to pop even more. You can see a little bit of the black on the edge, but very little in the Vintage Photo. Just goes along and it will do that. Now, I don't necessarily do the black with every single item. Of course, you want to decide, but in general, I will take, especially cards like this, I will do a bit of the black. And on things that I want to pop when I start doing the collages, I will do the black, and I will show you that later. So that's that step. So I will go through and I will do all my inking that I need to do and all the rest of my cutting, and then I'll be back. So here's a handy little trick. So you've got your kit and you've got everything all cut out. And you got your pockets and everything else. And sometimes I do envelopes in cardstock. Now, cardstock is one of those things that, if you're going to be bending it a lot, it can crack a little. So if you don't have a one of those things to crease it, this is what you can do. No, I'm not going to cut it. Don't worry. I use it to line up where the thing would be. I take my bone folder. Now, I can't take credit for this idea because I did see another YouTuber use it, and I thought it was great. And it works quite well. Yeah, I just use that to line up where I need it to go across to the next one. It's got that little indentation in there, so it does come in handy. That one, yeah. All at the bottoms. And this will help getting things lined up. There, all your creases are right on. You just put it over. Use your bone folder again. Like you might get a little bit, but it's not going to be near as bad as what it can be, trust me. I have done this way too many times. Where I made an envelope journal and it did that a few times. So and I like a good crease, so there you go. Wish I had known that when I did my envelope journal. It would have made things a lot easier. But there's nice creases, not a ton of cracking on the edge or anything. And what little there is, you'll be inking it up anyway, so it will not be noticeable. But it does help. I mean, to make the creases like that. I hope this helps somebody, and we'll go on to the next step. Okay, so everything is cut out. Everything has its basic distress ink on it. And now this is all from Took's kit. I'll put a link for that in her Etsy shop. Now, I did a couple of things I did print out a couple of times. Like, for example, this is the fussy cuts she gives you. And I've taken this and I've cut it out in regular size, as you can see here. But I've also taken it and I've shrunk it a couple of times to the point that that's that butterfly. And there's no reason why you can't take things and shrink them. I generally, when I'm doing fussy cutting and all that, I put it on. Some people like regular paper. I like cardstock because I find it stiff, and that way I feel that I can use it more. But anyway, I digress. I also spray everything after I print it with a matte sealer, just because I have an inkjet. An inkjet can get messy if you start getting any kind of wetness on it, like glue. So here we're going to just do a few little things where we take the kit and we collage with it, and we can change things. Like, for example, this did not have the black ring. I made that on it just to punch it out a bit more, and I really like that. I also did it on this one. I did a bit thicker, and just put that on for now. But this is one of her bookmarks. So what I did is I took my 1-inch punch and I figured out holes in the back to be able to put 4. She does have these little circle things that you can cut out. So I took a scrap piece of plastic from some packaging. I put it on behind. I used double-sided tape for that. And then I put those in the right spot, and I taped them down, and then I glued another backing onto it, so it's quite thick. And then there's one of the little butterflies, and then there's some flowers that I had fussy cut it out that I shrunk. So these are just some ideas that you can do with these things within the kit. Now what I want to do is, like, she gives you lots of tags. Quite a good amount of tags, journaling cards, etc. There are lots of them. And as I said, I printed out some things a couple of times, like the flowers and that. But there are things like she gives you these little cards as well. You can put a little card there, stamp it, and then, you know, and put another embellishment around there, maybe some more flowers on top, or another butterfly on top. You know, there's all kinds of things that you can do with just using within the kit. Another thing that I did is I printed some things on vellum. Now, vellum is one of those papers. It's a bit finicky, but if you get the hang of it, it can be quite useful. So vellum has a smooth side and it has a rougher side. Now the rough, you have to, it's very, very hard to really tell, but it is there. And so the rougher side is the side that needs to be printed on. So in my case, I had to put it in upside down, and then it comes out printed on the rougher side. And then again, it has to be sprayed. Let it sit. It'll be fine. So that's that. And I took it and I put it over just some paper that I have for a pocket. And so when I put something in there, like say a different tag, another tag, that's another bookmark, for instance, you can kind of see it through, and it's kind of neat. And this I'll probably make another pocket on top of this and it'll be a triple pocket, or you could even take another corner and put it on there. Maybe put one of these on the corner, or clip it down. Like this one could be clipped down and easily stuck as a corner pocket in front if you wanted to. But I mean, but you have the vellum, so I like the vellum. So I made a couple pockets like that. I also took and made a full sheet of vellum. One moment, where is it? Unfortunately, I can't find it right now. We'll bring it later on. I'll look for it and bring it back and show you guys. But I have a full page of hers that I took and made into vellum, onto vellum to that I'm going to use in the journal. This is a misprint. I accidentally, there's two up at the wrong side. And there's two different things printed on that. And it's one of my tea dye papers. So I just cut it out to use it as paper. And like this, I cut wrong. So I will cut that up and use it on something else to tuck on it. So like, for example, like this, you could take it, you could put, I got a fuzzy cut on it, and then a butterfly on it, or whether it be a big one or a small one. You can add more, always add more to it, and she gives you, like I said, a lot of things. You can take these and you can put that on it, you know, like that, and then that could be another tuck spot in behind. I mean, there's a lot of options. Like I said, there's this. You can make them smaller. You don't have to leave them that size. And for example, the postcards, simple thing for the postcards, stamps. I put, like, they come like this, like these. So they have printed stamps, which are great. They're cute. But if you want to start ramping it up a little bit, you can, I put some real stamps on it, which are easy to find. Everybody's getting rid of their stamp collections these days. So, I mean, go on Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji or eBay, and you will find some cheap stamps that you can use. So that's one way to knock it up. And again, you can use more of her kit, add some more flowers on top, or other little circles, or something, or stamps that you have. You know, like I will do some and I will show you what I've done. I will just get them made and I'll come back and show you a video of what I have done with a lot of the items that are in this kit, you know, and that way you can see more things of what can be done. So, I'll stop the video for now and we'll be back. Okay, so before I go to my next stage, which is sewing, I just wanted to catch you up on everything. See the nice little file I have here. This does not include the pages of a lot of the ephemera that I have made so far. First of all, this is one of the pages. It is, I did print it on the vellum, and I love the way it looks. And of course, when you have, you know, paper underneath, it's going to look even prettier when when it's in the journal. So I thought I'd show you that like that. So envelopes, you know, just this was not in the kit. This is my own stamps, but you know, I cut out things and make things. But most of the stuff that I used is from the kit that she has, you know, just adding a little simple little thing there. This bookmark that I made is just punching holes, and it's nice and sturdy. It's a nice little bookmark, and adding a little extra like a faux labels. Like I said, I mean, these little, take the images that she sends you. I mean, this is the fussy cut that she includes in it. Take it and shrink it or enlarge it or do whatever you like. But, you know, and then fussy cut those out, because those come in really handy, because there's the butterfly, there's the flower that come from the fussy cut. So, I mean, shrink them and use them. It's great. I mean, just play with it. And there's another vellum pocket. You know, I see a fussy cut little flowers on the edges. So this is held here. This is going to be, you know, one of the pockets. I'm putting another little thing in it. One of the tags. Another tag. This, a lot of this is going to my sewing machine, and will be sewed on as well. You know, I took one of those tags and I made a little tuck spot in the front of it as well. You know, there's so many things you can do. This is going to be attached and sewn. This one has a little tab on top that I made with one of the other pieces, and so it's got a nice little tab on it. That will be sewed. This will be sewed. See, more vellum that I did. So you can you'll be able to put a little note in there, or anything you like really, and see what's in there. Now, then this is going to be sewed and put onto something. Here's a postcard. I cut a hole in this, and that's one of the vellum butterflies, so I'll put that in there. I think that's really neat. You can see through on both sides, and then I copied something and glued it on the back so that you have nice lines to make it into a journal card. I mean, these are very, very simple things that you can do, you know, and you know, just adding onto it, you know, just a little bit of gauze, and you know, or a little bit of fabric, a little bit of paper, you know, and other things that you can just add onto things and make them even prettier. That's just a piece of vellum. Like, I just ripped a piece of vellum out and then inked the edges. You know, there's another postcard. I put all I did with this envelope is I put 2 stamps on it, and then I have a faux cancellation stamp and stamped it on top. I may do more after, and I also did a little tuck for the envelope to stay closed. There's some paper in there. You know, more things that are going to be sewn on. That's to remind me to put that button on in that corner afterwards. But that will all be sewn as well. You know, another postcard. That's a tuck spot. You can take a little card and tuck it in there. It will stay. I just glued half of it on, so it's kind of a sneaky little tuck spot. There's another one of the stamps. And then this tag, there's another tuck spot there. You can put anything in there, really. Just to give you some ideas of things you can do. That's washi tape, just to make that pop a bit. And there's, you know, another little thing. I haven't done much. Some of these things I still haven't done much to, because if they will get done more once they're inside. And then that's going to be also another tuck thing. And then this is going to get sewed on and be a tuck spot as well. That's a fussy cut of a large flower. And then look at these cute little bags. I mean, these are also little tuck spots here. Should keep a tag handy, shouldn't I? You know, you can put something in there, and then I'll glue these onto something else. And then, you know, just putting a quote on top of one of these, or you know, there's another one of the fussy cuts, and just a little bit of gauze, and well, it can be something very simple. That will be a tuck spot when it's done as well. Yeah, that one's not finished yet. That one's not finished yet. There's another one. I just have to sew around the edges, and I'll probably decorate more. And then I do have quite a few things that I have not decorated yet, because I will sew them first before I decorate them. But I took the little tiny things that she has, and I made that into a little paper clip, so we can clip onto anything now and just be right there. Instant tuck spot. So still more things to do, and lots of things still left over, pieces left over from working on it, and we'll see how it goes. Talk soon.